Section 1.2 Observational Studies. An observational study measures the value of the response variable without attempting to influence the value of either the response or explanatory variables. A response variable is a particular quantity that we ask a question about in our study. An explanatory variable is any factor that can influence the response variable. An observational study could be you're sitting at an intersection. You're recording how many people turn left, how many people turn right, and how many people go straight through the intersection. You're just observing what happens. And the response variable would be which direction they went. The explanatory variable may be the time of day. Example 1. Examine the social media habits of individuals and classify as either a light, moderate, or heavy social media user. Then look at which group tends to be more alert at performing a particular task. So you're not adjusting anything, you're just looking at individuals' social habits on media, and then you see what happens when they perform a particular task. A second example could be examine the amount of coffee consumed by individuals and classify as either a light, moderate, or heavy coffee drinker. Then look at which group tends to be more alert at performing a particular task. You're just going to observe. Now, confounding in a study occurs when the effects of two or more explanatory variables are not separated. Therefore, any relation that may exist between an explanatory variable and a response variable may be due to some other variable or variables not accounted for in the study. This is when confounding occurs. A confounding variable is an explanatory variable that was considered in the study whose effect cannot be distinguished from a second explanatory variable. Confounding is potentially a major problem with observational studies. Often the cause of confounding is a lurking variable. A lurking variable is an explanatory variable that was not considered in a study, but the effects of the value of the response variable in the study. Observational studies do not allow researchers to claim causation, only association. So if you're going to do an observational study, you can claim causation, but you can't claim causation. You can only claim an association. Suppose you observed the soda purchase of individuals in a grocery store as to whether they bought a Coke brand, a Pepsi brand, or other brand. Gender, age, and price could be confounding variables in this example. Income of an individual could be a lurking variable in this example. You know, if they have a very low income, they might buy the off-brand because of price. Now we're going to talk about designed experiments. In a designed experiment, we assign people or things to groups and apply some treatment to one group, called the treatment group, while the other group does not receive the treatment. We call this the control group. In example 1, split a group of individuals that use social media heavily into two groups. One group has free access to all social media and the other group has no access to social media. Then look at which group tends to be more alert at performing a particular task. So what we're doing is we're taking a group of individuals that are known to be heavy social media users, and we restrict the one group from using social media. What effect is that going to have on them when they go to perform a particular task later on? Example 2, take the coffee drinkers again. Split the heavy coffee drinkers into two groups. One group may drink coffee at their regular rate and the other group is restricted on the amount of coffee they may drink. Is this going to have an effect on how they perform a particular task? Types of observational studies. A cross-sectional study is an observational study that collects information about individuals at a specific point in time or over a very short time period. A case control study is an observational study that requires individuals to look back in time and require the researcher to look at existing records. This is known as a retrospective study because it looks back in time. A cohort study is an observational study that identifies a group of individuals to participate in the study, the cohort. Now, the cohort is observed over a long period of time and characteristics about the individuals are recorded. This is known as a prospective study because it gathers information over time. For example, at Hagerstown Community College, the nurses that enter a nursing program, there's a cohort of students each year when they enter, and they follow those students all the way through to see how they did. A census is an observational study that collects information from all individuals in the population. Okay, this is the end of section 1.2.